A Woj bomb has officially dropped as the Chicago Bulls have traded Alex Caruso for Oklahoma City Thunder guard Josh Giddey. Yes, Arturas Karnisovas has officially moved on from at least one of his main pieces of his core, and we will not be running it back next season. But wow, I cannot believe that today, out of all days, that the Bulls have made a move. I have a lot of thoughts. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, make sure to hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all for all the support. We have a lot to talk about in this. So I'm going to talk about this part first, just to get this out of the way, and then I'm going to try to talk about the basketball part about this after, okay? First is this. I'm not jumping up and down for joy because Josh Giddey had those allegations earlier this year. And obviously nothing came of those allegations. The investigation has been closed. But it still doesn't make me feel good. And it's not necessarily someone I want to be supporting. I'm aware again that the investigation is closed and nothing came out of it. And so the front office and all NBA people are going to have to act as if that basically didn't happen because nothing came from it. But it just doesn't make me feel too comfortable. Something like that is something I take very seriously. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. So I'm not jumping up and down for joy because of that. That's the reason why I'm just kind of like, I'm like in the middle about this trade. More so leaning towards I'm not exactly the biggest fan at the moment. That will probably change in a little bit, but yeah, that's the reason why I'm a little about it. I'm just uncomfortable with the name Josh Giddey. But either way, we're gonna now move on from that part and just talk basketball wise from here on out. Okay, so Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. If you're the Chicago Bulls, I don't exactly know what this is meaning. It still kind of says like, hey, tear down, fire sale, maybe. And from everything that's been reported, I would not be shocked if that was the case where where trade Zach, ideally also trade Vooch. And then in that case, then at least in my head, you don't bring back DeMar DeRozan. But the Bulls love him for whatever reason. And think that he'd be fine in this sort of deal, or in the team that is trying to rebuild, which doesn't make any sense to me. But Caruso for Giddey, value-wise, it's pretty good for the Bulls, okay? I think Josh Giddey, who is only 21, is going to turn into probably a pretty good player when he obviously gets closer to his prime. This was his stats last season. He played 80 games, which I didn't even think that he started all 80, but he did have his struggles playing next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Obviously, though, what you're probably looking at is his sophomore season where he put up 16.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. And you saw him take a pretty serious leap compared to his rookie year to his sophomore year, where his percentages all jumped, right? That field goal percentage jumped to 48. His three-point percentage jumped up, obviously, from 26 to 32. And then even this year took a bit of a jump, but it wasn't that impressive because he took less threes. So I do think that Josh Giddey obviously is just going to get better as a player. And I think that if the Bulls are truly moving into the direction of a rebuild, or, they're moving towards, a more of a youth movement where they actually go out and get younger players. And maybe it's not a full-scale rebuild, but it's just something that resetting the team. I'm all for this. I think in general, Josh Giddey is going to do really well in that sort of situation, and he's going to have a good chance to develop into potentially an all-star if he has the ball in his hands and the right pieces surrounding him, as well with the right moves made. The biggest thing I want to talk about is this part. Adrian Wojnarowski has said that the Bulls have been determined to find a playmaker to replace Lonzo Ball. That was shocking from Woj, that he just kind of put that out there, which that actually tells me that the biggest thing it tells me is that the Bulls are not going to be depending on Lonzo Ball this year, which is big. I'm very happy that the Bulls will not be depending on Lonzo Ball to be healthy this year. But it could also hint that the Bulls are actually thinking of trying to get rid of Lonzo Ball, which at least just in my opinion, I'm aware a lot of you guys love Lonzo, and I do appreciate what he did in his first year with the Bulls, but I do not have faith that he is going to be healthy anytime soon. I'm aware he's planning on trying to play opening day. I'm just aware of the injury that he sustained. I'm aware of the procedure he had, and I'm aware of the people that had the procedure did not play in the NBA again. So I'm just aware of this stuff when it comes to Lonzo, and that's the reason why I'm not like here thinking, oh yeah, he's gonna be here next season. And let's say he is still here. I have always been on the whole case that Lonzo Ball is more of a wing, and especially now with his injury history, he is definitely more so a wing. So even if he is still here, putting the ball in Josh Giddey's hands is much better than putting the ball in Lonzo Ball's hands to play make. Lonzo's obviously still a great three-point shooter, and he'll always have that. But in terms of playmaking and being a lead guard, it's Josh Giddey from here on out, it seems like. And this probably moves Kobe White to the 2 if they decide to keep him, which we don't know. He could be traded this offseason, which I wouldn't be shocked at, honestly, if AK is truly trying to do a fire sale here. But that's also, in my opinion, that's fine. I think that works out totally fine if they decide to do that. So here is now what we have to think about for the Bulls moving forward. First off, I do not know if there's a pick attached to this, and I've been refreshing the Woj notifications here, and I'm interested to see. And maybe he puts it in here. So I'm not at this moment when I'm recording this video, I am not aware of if a pick is attached to this in this deal. Ideally, if you're the Bulls, you do get a pick in this, but I think there is also a case to be made that with Caruso not only having one more year in his contract and is set to hit free agency, that you don't need to add the pick. And also this year, the reason why I wanted the pick is because Josh Giddey is about to hit restricted free agency next season, which is the reason why I would argue for the pick, especially because it seems like the Thunder want to re-sign Caruso. But we'll see. Ideally, you get a first-round pick out of this. The Thunder have tons to trade, so I would like one, especially if we're gonna head into a rebuild, because the last front office did not trade for picks when they decided to do their fire sale. So if you're the Bulls, you definitely want picks now if you're going to do the fire sale and full out rebuild. But we'll see. But Josh Giddey is set to hit restricted free agency next season. So the way that the Bulls have handled this over the years is that when it comes to restricted free agents, they do not give him a contract extension. So I do not expect the Bulls to give Josh Giddey a contract extension this season, even though he's going to be contract extension eligible this upcoming season at the beginning of the year. But I do think that the Bulls have full-on intentions to re-sign him. They're going to let him hit restricted free agency, let him see the market, and see where it goes. And even if he suddenly just develops into an all-star, then they're still willing to pay him that money. So again, you're probably going to have to see some of these pieces move, especially this Lonzo Ball contract move, because they basically just swapped contracts because Caruso wasn't making that much money or wasn't making much more than Josh Giddey. So the Bulls, to still get under the tax, they need to move some of these contracts. But in the end here, value-wise, it's pretty good for a return for Alex Caruso. Again, you only have 1 year left on his contract for the Bulls to trade. So because he's going to hit free agency next offseason, he is less valuable. That's the reason why I wanted the Bulls to trade Alex Caruso at last year's deadline, because you get 1.5 years of Alex Caruso instead of just 1. But in the end, the Bulls did get Josh Giddey in return, and just looking at it basketball-wise, it's pretty decent value, and hopefully, again, we don't know, but hopefully the Bulls get a pick in this as well. If they don't, it's still pretty okay basketball-wise in terms of value, but we'll see where it kind of heads off into. But that is my big reaction to this Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey trade that suddenly just happened a week before the NBA draft, and maybe it's a signal for things to come. Maybe the Bulls are actually, gonna do something this offseason, which they've already done one thing, but, I've talked about how you can't just make one major move in my last video that I just posted today. You can't just make one major move. You have to make multiple major moves this offseason to convince me that, hey, you realize that you cannot run it back and major changes are needed to this team that you've accumulated, aka and Mark Eversley. So this is step one. We'll see what's in the future for the Bulls here. And I'm excited to see what the Bulls actually do, because now this at least gives me hope. Like, this at least gives me hope that it just wasn't all talk by AK saying that, okay, yeah, we can't run it back. We can't bring back the same team and expect different results. So this at least gives me some hope. It's not enough. It's a start, but hey, at least the Bulls did something to start the offseason. But that's all for me. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I might go live actually soon here. I don't know when. Maybe it's gonna be closer to like 7 p.m. in Central Time. So I might go live. I'll post if I do go live or not. But I'll see y'all next time. Peace.